Here on Flow FM, on the eve of the Reserve Bank meeting, actually speaking on the Tuesday, the 6th of December, we're talking with the Charles Sturt University Professor of Economics, John Hicks. John, thanks for joining us again.
You're welcome.
And we have, another big meeting for home borrowers. I potentially see a rate increase going up if you believe all the economists. How are you seeing things for Tuesday's meeting?
Well, we've still got some inflation in the economy. It's running at around just below 7%. It was expected to be a little bit higher, so that may result in the Reserve Bank being a little more conservative than they might otherwise have been. However, I still expect that they will raise the cash rate, probably 25 basis points.
Is there a factor where the bank will consider that it's lead up to Christmas shopping season? Have we seen rate increases in December before?
I can't recall if we've seen rate increases in December before. I assume that we have. The Reserve Bank would take into account the fact that Christmas is just around the corner. That one of the problems, of course, with Christmas is everyone wants to get out there and start spending. And increases in interest rates may not discourage them as much as it would have done at another time of the year. The Reserve Bank wants to discourage spending because that's the only way they're going to be able to bring down inflation. So, in fact, the fact that it's Christmas may be one of the reasons why they do go ahead and increase the cash rate.
Now, just, I guess for those that are hearing that term inflation and might not have been as aware, maybe the younger audience might not have picked this up in school, what's so pernicious, what's so bad about inflation?
Inflation is prices in general increasing throughout the economy, and that creates problems of many different kinds. One of the most important aspects of it is those who are on fixed incomes or who are reliant on their investments and the interest they are earning. The monetary value of those holdings is going down all the time, or the real value of those holdings is going down all the time, even though you're earning interest and the monetary value is going up. Prices are rising faster, so you can buy less goods and services with those money holdings.
And I guess even if you're someone on an hourly salary or whatever you're earning, that money, say you're earning $20 an hour, if that salary doesn't go up at the pace that what it costs to buy things, then your salary in real terms is going backwards.
That's right. Your real income is going down, and for the time being, we really need that to happen in many respects. The problems that the economy is confronted with have all been pretty much on the supply side. And because of things like the war in the Ukraine, production is not as effective as it's been in the past. So one of the problems is that workers are going to experience a reduction in their real wage. And so too are people who rely on profits. Real profits are going to be falling for exactly the same reasons. The economy is not able to produce at the levels it would have otherwise been able to produce at if these events such as the war in Ukraine hadn't happened.
Now, Professor John Hicks, economics professor at Charles Sturt University, we're talking about just the state of the economy as the Reserve Bank meets on Tuesday. What about this criticism, if I can sort of generalise what's been said in other parts of the media, criticism of the Reserve Bank that if I can paraphrase it, go out and borrow. They were saying we're not going to put interest rates up until perhaps 2024. Is that a fair paraphrase of what you've heard, or indeed is it a fair criticism?
I think a lot has been made of this particular statement by the Governor of the Reserve Bank, and I think clearly it was a mistake to make it in the way that he did, but he was making it on the assumption that things in the economy would continue pretty much as they were going at the time, and under those circumstances there was no reason to expect interest rates would be increased. However, subsequently, we've been hit by these cost increases coming largely from overseas, and the Reserve Bank does have to have a look at that and try and bring the inflation under control.
Yeah, I noticed that some have been calling for Lowe to resign or be sacked from the Reserve Bank board, but was that comment made before or after Russia decided to move troops into Ukraine?
Yeah, I think demands for his removal are a little incorrect. I think that he's been doing a very good job, and I think the board itself has been doing quite a good job. They've not done anything extreme over the last year or so. They have acted on the advice that they've been getting and the data that's been coming in, and they've held pretty firm to trying to meet the objectives that they have been set.
Now, with those objectives, obviously the main thing with the cash rate is to try and suppress inflation by putting the rates up. Let's cast our eye further forward. Some economists are saying maybe towards the end of next year, going into 2024, we could see rates coming down if inflation does start squeezing the economy. Do you agree with that sort of sentiment?
I think rates can come down once inflation starts to fall, but if inflation keeps up at the levels that it's at, or indeed worsens, then I think the Reserve Bank needs to look at that fairly carefully and to start pushing interest rates up even further.
Because it's hard to foresee the inflation rate coming back to what they call that target range. Aren't we some percentage points outside of that target range and not foreseeably coming back to that for some time?
Oh, we are at the moment, but that's largely because the settings that the economy currently has sees demand running well ahead of our ability to meet that demand, and that's allowing prices to rise. But as the Reserve Bank acts to curtail demand, it's going to bring it back to a situation in which prices are going to stop rising.
Well, Professor John Hicks, Professor of Economics at Charles Sturt University, thanks for that comprehensive wrap, not just today, but throughout the year. Have a great Christmas, and we'll catch you again next year.
Thank you.